In one.
We don't have a release for dogs.
Yes, we do.
He's a superstar.
Look at that. This is
Oh, he's a ham. He's very important.
He's a total
he
ham.
never does this. I shouldn't say
And
never.
I'm rolling now.
Okay.
So we're good to go
All
now.
right. Grab these. Thank you so much.
And now it's good. We're recording.
Okay, and your audio is good? Is that what you just
So
said?
you're going right to questions.
Audio's
Okay.
good.
All right, so let's talk about the date. What's today's date?
You want this filmed?
Yeah, he's rolling. Oh, let's see. Just give me the date, your names, and your addresses.
Today's date?
Yeah.
November 13th, 2010. Louis Brad,
Candy Brad.
51 Pineview Lane in Boulder Heights.
Okay. We talked a lot about how much notice you were given on the evacuation, so let's just go straight to the what did you take with you questions.
You want me to go?
You can start, honey.
You had a vehicle, one vehicle?
We had two vehicles, and we did have, kind of all day. We knew the fire was going on. We started packing about an hour and a half before we left. And since we've actually been through this a few times, there's definitely a mental list. We didn't have a paper list, but we had a mental list of things that we needed to take. The computers, both our desktop and our laptop, important papers, jewelry. We have a little bit of artwork that's unique. I wouldn't say it's expensive, but like Louis's grandmother's paintings that they painted, they're irreplaceable things. So they may not be worth much, but we can't replace them. The animals, of course, that's the first thing on the list. Usually there's several dog toys that make it on the way.
Contents of the safe, passports, birth certificates.
Medications, a few clothes, shoes.
Yeah, we have a few days worth of clothes, shoes.
Tell that story.
Tell that story.
The shoes.
We've been 4 times had to evacuate due to fires, and there's always something that is funny. And I don't know why I took several pairs of shoes. I think because they were all just sitting by the door, and I was loading stuff up. So we had trash bags full of stuff, and all the shoes just went in the trash bag and went into the truck.
How many pairs, Louis?
I think 5 or 6, and I'm not a big shoe guy. I really don't care. But to back up a little bit, there was a funny conversation. We took 2 cars. There's just 2 of us here. We have 3 vehicles. So there was a discussion of which one gets left behind. And the truck for sure went because we could put more stuff in there. And Candy's vehicle actually is the one that got left behind. Why did we decide?
Because it's the oldest.
She was the last one to get a new vehicle. So there was a little bit of entertaining thought there, knowing almost for sure that we couldn't come back up and get another one.
Anything else?
I think for me at least, because this was the 4th time we've been evacuated, and one of the times was an actual fire in the house where we sat up at the top of the driveway thinking we might not have anything left. I've gotten very, cut and dried about what comes, and knowing that there are things in this house that are irreplaceable that we're not going to lug out, pieces of furniture, antiques, things like that. You just know that the important things are the people in the house and the animals in the house, and if that's all you get out, then that's good.
It did make a big difference because we had a lot of time for the 4-mile fire. We had several hours. When we started thinking about probably early afternoon, 1-ish maybe, that we're going to have to leave, and we didn't leave till almost 6. So we had a lot of time to think about it, and we had a lot of space in the 2 vehicles to take a lot more. And in fact, when I came back up on Thursday, when they opened it up for a couple of hours, I loaded my truck up with even more stuff, just because I could. So.
And what did you load up then?
Wow.
More clothes.
Some more clothes, because we were out of clothes. A lot of photographs, a lot of stuff that we have hanging on the walls that we didn't take the first time around. I didn't completely load up the truck. That was probably the bulk of it. Maybe some more camera gear.
Oh yeah, that went the first time too. All the
yeah,
camera
all
gear
the
went the
camera
first
stuff
time.
So it was probably some of the more expensive stuff. maybe what was on my mind then, and more irreplaceable stuff that we didn't have time for.
As you were leaving, is there any one last thing where you went, oh, wait, gotta run back in and get something?
I don't remember that, if there was.
I don't either.
We have a next door neighbor who lives by himself, an older gentleman, so we did stop by his house because he initially said he wasn't going to go, or he didn't want to, and then he realized that he pretty much had to. And we did have more room in the truck, so he had a lot of papers. He does a lot of genealogy stuff. So we stopped by his house and loaded those boxes up in the truck, so we were helping him for 15 minutes or so before we pulled out. So that was probably my last minute thing, because I called to see if he needed anything or was okay. As it turned out, we loaded up the wrong boxes, I think. He didn't actually have them, but all was okay.
That's good. I like that. So, I guess just, later on as time progressed and you were out of the house, was there anything that you wished you had taken just to help you live at my house or at...
The cord to our laptop,
Claire and Brian's.
the power cord at your house. We had to steal yours.
Okay.
I haven't been doing that.
Okay, thanks.
What do we do?
So, so I said, once you were down and not living in your house, was there anything you realized that you wished you had taken? So maybe you could start your response with,
The
once
thing
we
I
were
wish.
out of the house, I wish I
Oh,
realized
okay.
I needed blah, blah, blah.
Okay. So once we were out of the house and we got settled at your house, if I can say that, we had our laptop, which was the only thing. We had the other computer, but the laptop was the only usable thing. So we didn't have the power cord for it, but luckily you are a new Mac owner and we stole your cord. When we got to our other friend's house after a couple days at your place and I set the desktop up, I didn't have a keyboard, so it was not operable. But I found one of those to get in. So those were little things, but not too much. Oh my God, I wish we had taken that.
We definitely just kind of knew we had more time when we were coming back up, and it was obvious that the fire was extremely aggressive. When you get that first call the first day, you kind of always think you're coming back. You don't have that sense that it's really going to be gone. So when 140 houses later, all over the media, and they're going to let you back up here for 2 hours, telling you that you're going to have to get back out again, you start thinking that this might be real and it might really happen to you. So you definitely start taking more of those irreplaceable things that weren't as important to get out the first day, but if you have a little more time, you'll sneak them out. Photographs.
Great. I think I'm done with my questions. Did anything come up for either of you? Okay.
Anything that you want to add?
I think as far as the things we took and what was important, that's probably it. The other emotional stuff and the thought processes, probably a whole different story, maybe a whole different film. But pretty intense, you don't realize when you're going through it what it all means, because you're just in the moment, and we were glued to a TV or we were glued to news and so focused on keeping up with what was going on, even though our mindset is if the house went, the house went. I realize that's a lot easier to say than have it done to you, and I don't mean to minimize it by any means. But I think we had everything out and felt good about what we had out. If we had, like some people, seconds at best to get yourself out of the way of harm or possible death, it would be a different story. But we were fortunate in that we had time. And that helped, I think, with me a lot, is lowering the stress level and realizing that we'd be okay.
Are you surprised by anything you end up taking?
Sometimes. I tend to stuff sometimes I'm a little surprised by what we end up with. I usually end up with a whole suitcase full of dog toys, which those are replaceable. But you don't think about it in the moment. You're just thinking, okay, I got to get all the dog food and the treats and the cat food and the insulin for the cat and the, everything else. And oh my gosh, let's take some of the favorite toys with us too. So that's kind of surprising.
Zabu needs to be happy in his home away from home.
In his evacuation. The other thing I did at this fire, and again, because we had a little more time before we left, is I went around and I photographed everything. Because we don't have a video of the whole house, and I had a little bit of extra time, and I knew there were things that we weren't going to take, so I ended up going through every room and photographing every wall, piece of furniture, clothes, just in case, and that camera went with us, so that if we had to talk to the insurance company about what we lost, we will at least have documentation of the things that were already here.
Smart girl. Everybody talks about that, but
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah, well, this, again, our 4th evacuation, this was the first time we did it. So,
Slow
but now we
learners.
have it. Maybe we'll get an actual list and serial number or something.
Lewis actually started making a list too. You were asking about, did you have a paper list? But
Yeah,
Lewis
so there is actually a written list now.
Yay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. I think we have time. Yeah, that's it. Cut. Zabu, what did you take with you when you were so cute?
He channeled Mom to take the toys and his food.
Look up
We
there.
didn't
If you
really
click, if you click or do something, he'll look at the camera.
Hey,
You
Sabu.
like that too?
Say the word. Say the word squirrel.
Squirrel.
He knows where the squirrels live.
Oh, you're jealous,
Got it.
and you know.
And you're
Oh,
allergic.
yeah.
And I love you, and I want to
That
get my
is-
hair all over you.
That is his ottoman.
You always know.
No, he likes Mary because she's allergic.
All right.
Oh yeah, should we get a cut away the cat too? We talked about
Yeah,
animals.
I want to get him like over there, maybe.
Get the cat over here. We can. We'll see.
Can I pick him up?
Oh yeah,
and bring him over?
he loves people. He will get hair all over your beautiful black outfit.
Yeah,
But
you got the wrong colors on.
Well, she's allergic. So
Come here,
it's
Wolf.
better I do it, I think.
Oh, he's right here.
Oh, okay. I thought he could be with the group that went.
he says, "I'm a cat. We do not hang with the group. We do our own thing. I'm going to get my hair all over your papers too,
They would be so.
so you will always have me."
With each evacuation, does your list change and grow and your whole, how do you change?
It actually
when you
shrinks.
personally change?
Yeah, it probably shrank.
It shrinks.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because the first time that we got the reverse 911 call and we didn't actually have to evacuate, I had all kinds of crazy stuff packed. I mean, I was packing up the entire house, trying to get as
All right, so again, we're going to talk about how this evacuation and the things you took is different than the previous evacuations.
It's a little bit different, this being the 4th one. We had a mindset of, we've been through it, we knew, I think, a little bit more what we needed and what we didn't, so we could be a little bit more selective. On the other hand, we had a lot of time. We had several hours, 4 or 5 hours at least, to do it and pack things up. But the important things, the passports and birth certificates and identification, computer stuff. Again, I forgot to mention the animals first, but the animals are first and foremost. And their needs, they both have medical needs. The cat needs insulin, the dog is on special food, so that all went. A lot of irreplaceable artwork that's very important to us, things that my grandparents did, paintings that mean a lot to me. Clothes for, we had 3 or 4 days worth of clothes, toiletries, medications that we need. That's probably the bulk of it.
Good, thanks. And then talk maybe about when you first evacuated this time. Are there other things besides that? I can't remember now. Other things besides what you mentioned
For the Fourmile Fire.
Yeah.
What else did we have? Zabu's toys, my famous shoes, and I don't know why I took the shoes, but there were several pairs of shoes by the door, and I don't really care about shoes, but for whatever reason, I just decided to put them into a plastic bag and toss them in the truck. I think I wore one pair the entire time we were out for several days, but they went with me. Part of my thought might be because I have wide feet and it's not easy for me to find shoes. I don't know if that was a conscious thought at the time, but my shoes that I have are all comfortable and it's not easy for me to fit. On our official list that we now have, all my shoes are not on that list.
I like that.
So yeah, it just happened, I guess I was sloppy that day, and for whatever reason, all my shoes were by the door.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not that's coming to the top of my head.
Okay. I think before you had mentioned your computers.
Yes, I didn't mention that this time around.
Yeah.
So yes, our laptop and our desktop computers, those both went. We have an automatic backup system on a hard drive, which backs everything up, I think, hourly or something like that. So, well, of course, we had that on our list. If we had no other time to do anything, I would grab that hard drive in the future. But we did have time this time, so the computers all went. But of course, I forgot the power cord to the computer, and I forgot the keyboard to the desktop. So that's just a little thing, but at least we had the items themselves.